Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Zainab Abdullahi, a counseling psychologist. Love and relationship are powerful aspects of our lives. They provide us with joy, warmth, connection, but they can also have an announced impact on our mental health. In this episode, we look at the hidden signs of relationship, how love can heal us, how conflict can harm us, and why mental health is just as important as trust and communication. We will start with how relationship influence mental health. Relationships have a very strong impact on mental health, both positively and negatively. The people we interact with daily, like our partners, family, friends, colleagues, shape how we feel about ourselves and the world. We will look at the positive and negative ways relationships influence our mental health. We'll start with the positive influence of relationship. Firstly, the emotional support. Supportive relationships provide comfort during stress, sadness, or uncertainty. Knowing somebody understands us and cares about us can reduce feeling of loneliness and anxiety. It also brings a sense of belonging. Close connection gives us a sense of belonging, which is important for self-esteem and resilience. Feeling accepted helps protect against depression and isolation. Thirdly, having a healthy coping mechanism. Partners, friends, and family can encourage healthy habits like exercising, eating well, seeking therapy, or taking breaks, making it easier to manage stress. Fourthly, validation and self-worth. Positive relationship help us feel valued and appreciated, boosting self-confidence and overall well-being. According to Pwani University, there was a study done in 2025 that showed that how university students from unsupportive families exhibit a 35.2% prevalence of mental health conditions compared to lower rates among those with stronger family support system. From these statistics, we can see how unsupportive relationship happens. Firstly, we'll talk about the toxic or abusive relationship. Constant criticism, control, neglect, or abuse can lead to anxiety, depression, and trauma. Secondly, conflict and stress. Frequent arguments or lack of communication can cause chronic stress, affecting sleep, mood, and even physical health. Thirdly, loneliness in relationship. Sometimes, even when surrounded by people, lack of emotional connection can make somebody feel isolated. This can worsen our mental health. Fourthly, pressure and expectation. Unrealistic demands or pressure from family, friends, or partners can lower our self-esteem and increase anxiety. What are some of the red flags to watch out for? We'll start with the emotional red flags. When you find yourself that you're feeling drained, anxious, or low after spending time with some certain people, instead of feeling comfortable or happy being around them, they leave you emotionally exhausted, nervous, or sad. You walk around them like you're walking on eggshells, afraid of how they'll react. You're constantly cautious about what you're going to say or do because you fear their anger, mood swings, or criticism. They also make you feel guilty for expressing your needs or emotions. When you're feeling stressed, they twist it around and make you feel like you're overreacting or being selfish. Your self-esteem has dropped since being in the relationship. You doubt yourself more, you feel less confident, and start believing you're not good enough. You feel lonely or unsupported even when you are together. Even though you have a partner, you still feel emotionally alone because your needs aren't being met. Some of the behavioral red flags that you can see is constant criticism, blame, or belittling. Belittling of how you think, feel, or your achievement. Instead of celebrating you, they put you down, making you feel small or unworthy. They dismiss your feelings and make you feel like you're too sensitive. Whenever you're expressing your heart, they minimize it and make you doubt yourself or your emotions. They try to control all your choices, who you see, what you do, and how you live. Your freedom is limited and you feel pressure to live by their rules. They rarely take responsibility and make everything your fault. Arguments end with apologizing, and when you aren't wrong, they avoid the accountability. There is a cycle of conflict, apology, repeat, with no real change. They may say sorry, but their behavior does not change. So the same thing is repeated over and over again. Your social and lifestyle changes. These are the red flags that you see when in your social settings. You feel withdrawn from friends, family, and activity you once enjoyed because of that relationship. Slowly, you've stopped doing the things that once brought you joy, often to avoid conflict and because of pressure from your partner. They isolate you and make you feel guilty for spending time with others. They may discourage or even prevent you from seeing your loved ones, making you feel torn between your relationship and your support system. Your sleep, appetite, or concentration is being affected. Stress from the relationship splits into your daily life, disrupting your health and focus. You feel stuck, hopeless, and fearful about the future of the relationship. Instead of feeling secure, you feel trapped, like you won't get better and you have no way out. If a relationship consistently leaves you feeling unsafe, unheard, or unworthy, it's affecting your mental well-being. A healthy relationship nurtures emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. Some key signs you will notice in a healthy relationship. We'll start off with the emotional safety and support. You feel safe being yourself, no fear of judgment or rejection. Your feelings and opinion are listened to and respected. You can share both joys and struggle, knowing the other person will support you. Also, you feel that there is trust and honesty. Between you and your partner, there is mutual trust. Both of you feel like you can openly share and be honest with each other. You're also able to share uncomfortable things without the other feeling that they are attacked, and they can come off being respecting your feelings. Also, you are able to keep your promises and both your boundaries are respected. You are also able to have healthy communication. You can talk openly about your needs, feelings, and concern. Disagreements are handled with respect, not insult or threats. Disagreements are handled with respect, not insult or threats. Both of you are listened as much as you speak. There is equality and independence. The relationship feels balanced, not one-sided. Both partners have freedom to have friendship, hobbies, and personal goals. Also, the decisions are made together, not forced by one person. Another thing that you might experience in a healthy relationship is where you feel there is care and affection. There's genuine kindness, appreciation, and encouragement. You celebrate each other's achievement instead of competing. Love is shown not only through words but also through action. A healthy relationship makes you feel valued, supported, and free to grow as an individual. Many people wonder why someone just doesn't live in a toxic relationship. But the truth is, it's rarely that simple. Some common reason why people stay is the psychological reasons. These reasons are often the hardest for an outsider to understand, as they happen within the victim's mind, corrupted by their view of reality of themselves. There's a trauma bonding, a cycle of addiction. This one is the most powerful psychological mechanism in action. A toxic relationship is a frequent cycle through strong affections. Now that is the honeymoon phase. And then after that, it's followed by a build-up tension, and also an episode of abuse or conflict, and then a passionate apology, which some people call it love bombing. During that cycle, a victim becomes neurologically wired to crave for the high of the reconciliation after low of the abuse. Breaking this bond feels similar to fighting a chemical addiction, complete with withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, severe anxiety, depression, and craving for the abuser. So the abused person might be minimizing the experience. So the human mind struggles to hold two conflicting ideas at once. I love this person, and this person is harming me. To resolve the mental discomfort, the victim's brain minimizes the abuse. For example, they can start telling themselves, it was just a slap, not a beating. Or they can say to themselves that they only said that because they were drunk. Or they can rationalize it. I shouldn't have nagged him. They may cling to the memory of the person they fell in love with, believing that this is their true partner and the abuse is just as anomaly. Another reason can be for a person to say is to have emotional reasoning. Their heart is conflicted. These are the powerful feeling that overrides logical decision making, tying the person to their partner through a distorted sense of connection. Also, they can have attachment and love. It is a myth that a toxic relationship are bad 100% of the time. There are often genuine moments of love, joy, and connection. The victim isn't in love with the abuse, they are in love with the person they see during the good times. This love combined with shared history and memories creates a powerful emotional anchor. They live not because they stopped loving the person, but because they start loving themselves more. A transition that takes immense time and strength. Somebody also could be going through low self-esteem and self-blame. A systematic campaign of criticism, gaslighting, and belittling can shatter a person's sense of self-worth. The abuser often convinces the victim that they are the problem. The victim may genuinely believe they are too ugly, stupid, incompetent, or difficult to deserve better treatment or find love elsewhere. They stay because they feel this is the best they can get, and leaving would only confirm their inadequacy. A person may stay in a toxic relationship because of financially depending on their partner. An abuser often controls all the money, making the victim economically trapped. The victim may not have access to bank account, no independent income, especially if they were encouraged to be a stay-at-home parent. No credit on their own name, and no immediate way to secure housing or support themselves and their children. The fear of poverty and homelessness is a very real and powerful deterrent. Also, a person can stay in a toxic relationship because of cultural, religious, and social pressure. The victim's community can explicitly or implicitly forbid living. In some culture or religion, divorce is heavily stigmatized, bringing shame upon the family. There may be immense pressure to keep the family together at all costs. The victim may fear being ostracized by their community, family, and religious institution if they leave. They also would want to stay for the children. Parents often stay in an attempt to shield their children from trauma of a broken home. They may believe that providing a two-parent household is more important than providing a peaceful one, often misguided by the abuser who says, if you leave, you'll break up this family. They may also fear losing custody and may be forced into shared custody where they cannot protect their children from the abuser. Also, another reason for somebody to stay is safety concern, the ultimate deterrent. This is the most critical reason and the one that makes leaving a potential lethal decision. Also, they might fear the abuser to retaliate and escalate violence. The most dangerous time for a victim is when they attempt to leave or after they have left. Abusers are motivated by power and control. Leaving is the ultimate act of asserting independence, which the abuser will see it as a threat to their control. This is when threats, stalking, and violence often escalate dramatically. Many victims stay as a survival strategy because staying and managing the abusers feels safer than triggering the abuser's rage by leaving. This is not an irrational fear. It is a calculated assessment of a real danger. After all that, I believe that love can play a powerful role in healing. But it's important to understand how it works and also its limits. Love is the antidote for toxicity. Love is the foundation of healing. Emotional safety is the bedrock of a healthy relationship. It means you are able to be authentically yourself, be vulnerable, flawed, scared, or have joy without fear of judgment. You won't experience ridicule or retaliation. This safety allows our nervous system, which may stuck in a constant state of fight or flight from the past trauma, to finally downshift into arrest and digest. When the brain and body are no longer constant on alert, anxiety decreases and true healing can begin. This creates a sanctuary where a person feels seen and accepted, not for what they can do, but for who they are. Also, support during hard times, people sharing their burden. Life changes are inevitable. A loving partner or a supportive system doesn't just offer sympathy. They provide active buffering, which means that they are there to listen without trying to immediately fix the problem, and they validate your feeling. There is a practical support where there is tangibly sharing the load and by making maybe a meal together, helping with chores, driving to appointment, or assigning job searches. This demonstrates that the person is not alone in their struggle, which makes it stop being overwhelming through obstacles and make it feel more manageable. They also show practical support by tangibly sharing load, making a meal, helping with chores, driving to appointment, or assisting with jobs such as. This demonstrates that the person is not alone in their struggle, making overwhelming obstacles feel more manageable. Love also builds our self-worth. When somebody consistently shows you that they care, respect, and have admiration for you, you begin to internalize those feelings. They counter the negative internal soundtrack planted by past abuse, like when you were feeling you're worthless. This external validation slowly transforms into intrinsic self-worth, empowering the person to believe they deserve kindness, happiness, and respect. Also, love builds healthy connection. It isn't just a metaphor. It is psychological. Positive physical connection like hugging, holding hands, or comforting touch releases hormone like oxytocin, which is the bonding or love hormone, and endorphin, which is like a natural painkiller. These chemicals lowers your cortisol, which cortisol is the stress hormone. It reduces blood pressure and anxiety and promotes feeling of trust, security, and calm. These biological responses is a direct counter to the anxiety-driven and adrenaline rushes of a trauma bond, literally helping to rewire the brain stress response over time. Lastly, love encourages somebody to heal. A loving person encourages growth from a place of belief, not criticism. They see the best in you and gently support you in reaching it. It looks like them being a cheerleader by saying, I believe in you, you got this. They also you start normalizing help. Maybe talking to a therapist could be a tool to help you feel better, and it can help you find one. Also, modeling health, engaging in healthy habits together, like going for a walk or cooking nutritious meal. Crucially, this encouragement is offered without force or ultimatum. It empowers the individual to make the choices to heal from themselves, supported by a foundation of unconditional positive regard. But love alone isn't always enough. Love cannot cure trauma or depression by itself. Sometimes, despite the strong love, a person still needs professional help, that is going for therapy or taking medication. If love becomes over-dependent, it can strain the relationship and slow the healing. You have to find the balance. Love can lighten the burden, give hope, and create a safe place to heal. But the professional support ensures the person has the tool to process the trauma, manage depression, and rebuild resilience. In any kind of relationship, there should be trust. Trust is the foundation of a house in a relationship. Without it, everything feels shaky. When trust is strong, it creates a safe emotional space that directly protects mental well-being. How trust protects mental health? First, it makes somebody feel emotionally safe. You can be open about your fears, struggles, and dream without worrying about being judged or betrayed. Also, it lowers our stress levels. When you trust your partner, you don't waste energy on suspicion, doubt, or constant worry. It also builds our confidence and self-esteem. Trust makes you feel respected and valued. Knowing somebody believes in you boosts your sense of worth. Trust also helps with healthy communication. Trust encourages honest and open dialogue. Problem gets solved instead of being bottled up, which prevents resentment and emotional burnout. Lastly, trust builds a stronger, resilient relationship. In stressful or traumatic times, trust makes it easier to lean on each other. You feel less alone and more capable of coping. But when trust is missing, there is constant suspicion or fear of betrayal, which creates chronic stress. Emotional walls goes up, leading to isolation and loneliness, even in relationship. Mistrust can also lead to a cycle of control, conflict, or insecurity, which harm both partners' mental health. Trust is a protective shield. It allows love, communication, and support to flow freely, which keeps both partners mentally healthier. As we come to the end of our show, I need you, the viewer, to understand that our mental health is not a secondary concern within our relationship. It is the very foundation upon which a strong, lasting connection is built. A truly supportive relationship should feel like sanctuary, a place where you are celebrated at your best and supported at your worst, without fear of judgment or harm. Until next time, stay safe and stay grounded. Maasalam.